A few weeks ago, I made a video on how you can be more productive in your private practice. And I talked about how I've moved from a perfect or a model week to more of a 4-weekly or monthly schedule and why I had done this. And I asked if anybody would be interested in learning more about this and watching how I did that. And a few of you said you would, so I am following through with that and making this video for you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kim. I help therapists in private practice get online, get confident with admin, and reduce tech overwhelm. So I'm just going to do a really brief intro into this, and then what we're going to do is jump into my computer and I'm going to talk you through how I do this. So the first thing you'll notice is that I do it on a spreadsheet. So you can use Excel or Google Sheets for this. I find it so much easier to plan out my days and my weeks on a spreadsheet where you can easily delete things, move things around, and it's not going to affect my calendar too much. And then what I will do is transfer it from the spreadsheet to my Google Calendar, but that's more of the specifics. So you'll see on the spreadsheet, it might just say inbox or admin time or team meeting, something like that. Then I'll put that on the calendar and I'll recur the appointment so it goes into my calendar for a long time, but it will be more specific. So it will have details about the meeting. It will have details about what I'm doing in that admin time. There are a few reasons I decided to switch to more of a monthly schedule. The first reason is because I've really looked into women's cycles and how different times of the month can have different outputs, different performance levels. Sometimes I'm happy to be on camera and I'm full of energy and I'm feeling good and I want to get all of my filming done. And sometimes I absolutely do not. I want to be behind the computer. I want to do things on a slower pace. I get regular hormonal migraines as well. So at least one day a month, I'm going to have a problem where I'm not going to be able to work. So although I can't necessarily schedule in migraine day where I can't work, I can definitely plan a much lighter schedule for that week. There's also times where my brain is much more sharp, and that's when I'll want to spend time doing research or outlining scripts or creating course ideas, things like that. And there'll be times where I have a little bit of brain fog and I'm not so sharp, and so I'll plan in things that don't require my brain work as much. So for those weeks, I can really do things like accounts, and I can get invoicing done, and I can do the bookkeeping and things like that, because for me those tasks are really mundane and really easy to just kind of get done without thinking too much about it. Another reason personally that I've moved to a monthly schedule is that I have a lot of monthly tasks. So I have to do invoicing monthly, I have to do bookkeeping monthly, I have client meetings monthly, I have team meetings monthly. So it's much easier to kind of schedule in those exactly where they're going to be, rather than just doing team meetings / bookkeeping / invoicing. So for me, it's just much easier to see exactly what I'm doing, like as a holistic view, rather than just trying to cram it all into a 1-week schedule. And finally, the method that I'm using to do my time blocking and to plan my month out is based on the 12-week year. I've talked about this book many times and I have a couple of videos, one specifically about that, and also the productivity video I mentioned at the beginning talks about the 12-week year and how much it has really changed the way I think about how I work and my business and my goals and all that kind of stuff. And if you haven't read that book, I would highly recommend it if you are looking to meet your goals or actually take some action on things this year or whenever. So in that book, it talks about different kind of time blocks. So you will have a strategic block, which is around a 3-hour time block in your week where you will do something towards your goal. So you're actually taking action on the goal that you have set yourself. He also talks about buffer blocks. So these are blocks of time where you do mundane tasks like checking your inbox, answering voicemails, all that kind of stuff, any kind of admin that's not really going to move the needle forward to your goal, but it is necessary. So what you want to do is block that time out so you're not being distracted throughout the day. And I've done this for a really long time, but I didn't have a name for it, but now I do. It's a buffer block. So you want to plan either a 30-minute or 2 30-minute blocks throughout your day when you know that you can do these tasks. So they're not constantly on your mind, distracting you all the time. You're not working on something else and thinking, oh my God, I haven't checked my inbox. I wonder if I've got some emails from clients or something like that, you know, okay, well, I'm going to check that at 1 o'clock. So whatever it is can wait till then. So those are the reasons that I have decided to move from a 1 week to a 4 weekly schedule. And now we're going to jump into my computer so that you can see how I did this, how I plan everything out. And I'll also include a link to a template below so that you can start this yourself. Okay, so here is my schedule for my time blocking. I like to change my schedule 3 to 4 times a year, depending on what's going on. So I'll always do one for January. I'll usually do one for summer, and then after summer, I'll do one kind of for the rest of the year. This will change depending on what I'm working on, what my clients are doing. So this kind of period that we're doing here, I'm really heavily working with my clients. They both have big launches, kind of like the biggest launch of the year for them. So I'm going to be spending more time working in their business than I usually do and less time on my own business. So I need to factor that in. So if I show you the summer, I mean, it looks packed and lots and lots of colour here. So my client work is this orangey colour. And as you can see, there's really not many orange there. I have a lot of my own green stuff, and also pink is also my colour. And I had a lot of that for, you know, that period. Whereas in September, it's not going to be like that. I need to dedicate much more time to them. The other thing I'm going to be doing is following the 12-week year. I've written some notes down here. So I'm going to be setting myself a weekly accountability meeting, which means I'm going to be spending time making sure that I am doing everything that I set out to do. So I'll have weekly goals, as well as obviously the big goal that I have for, you know, this 12 weeks. I then need to have 2 buffer blocks. So these are admin blocks. So that will be like looking at emails and doing some quick tasks. And then I need strategic blocks as well. And I'm actually going to put 2 of them in. They recommend, you know, 1 to 2 a week. I'm going to try and get 2, like we'll see how it goes based on the other things that I've got to plan in. But I want to get 2 3-hour blocks in. One might be shorter actually, now I'm thinking about it, but there'll be 2 blocks there, strategic ones. One for actually doing the work, so that'll be a 3-hour block. And the second one will probably be a shorter block, but it will be kind of checking at what I've got to do, where I am. So a kind of like a bigger weekly accountability meeting, but for planning and things like that. So that is what I'm going to plan in. So the first thing I'm going to do is put in all my non-negotiables. So this is things around, you know, what I have to do with the kids and things like that. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to get that all put in. I'm not going to keep the video going. It's going to be very boring if you just watch me type everything up, but I will explain what I've got going on once I've put it all in. So I'm going to pause the video and then I'm going to enter all of my sort of non-negotiables, things that I have to do outside of work, so kind of personal life things. Okay, so that is really it. That's all I have to do outside of these times. So obviously there's stuff in the morning. I always take my kids to school, and after 6 o'clock I have other things going on. So I have some regular coaching groups and things like that, but this is just like a work schedule one. All of those other things will go on my actual Google Calendar, but this is like work time. So sort of 9 till 6 is going to be the latest that I'll work. 9 will definitely be the earliest. So anything that I have to do that's not work related inside of those times, I'll add here. So I always do a weekly shop and I get it delivered, or I pick it up after the school run, and I'll make sure that I'm putting that away on a Monday, so that's sorted for the rest of the week. I then pick the kids up on Wednesdays and Fridays. My husband does Mondays, and they go to their nans on a Tuesday and Thursday, so I can work later those other days. So that is what I have to sort of like this non-negotiable. I have to get those things done. So the next thing I'm going to do is then put in anything that I want to do. So these are the things that I want to do within my week, and these come kind of before work. So it's things that are important to me. So what I want to do is Lauren, one of my clients, is doing a journaling workshop every Monday morning. So I want to attend that every week. So I'm going to pop that in there, and that is at 9:30. So I'm going to put this under personal because it's not something like I'm charging for. It's not a work thing. It's something that I personally want to do for myself. The next thing that I also have is a coaching group on Thursdays, on the second Thursday and the fourth Thursday. So I'm going to plan that into, so that's 9 till 10:30. So I'm just going to put pod coaching here, and we'll put that under training. Second and fourth. Okay. And then the next thing I want to plan in is some differentiation between being a mum and being a business owner. I need some kind of like time to shift into that rather than jumping straight into work. So I would like to start doing some Pilates 2 days a week. So I'm going to schedule that in. And then on the other day, I will do some kind of journaling or some kind of planning, something like that. So I'm going to schedule that in next. On the other 2 Thursdays, when I don't have coaching, I'm going to schedule out the same amount of time, and I'm going to book in my own training. So I might do some research for something that I'm working on, or I'm part of memberships and things like that. So I'm going to be doing my own training there. And then I'm going to plan in my weekly accountability meeting here every Tuesday. So I'm just doing an accountability meeting based on how I did last week, looking at my KPIs, things like that. So although it is work related, it's more kind of easing into work on that day. Okay, so that's what I've got going on there. The next thing I'm going to do is start putting in the buffer blocks for all the admin that I need to do. So I've got all my lunch scheduled in already. Straight after lunch is a good time to just ease back into working again. So that's when I'll do that admin buffer block. So it'll be checking inboxes and just refocusing on what it is I want to do for the rest of the afternoon. I'm also going to block out Friday afternoon for myself, so that I can do whatever it is I need to do, whether that's get my nails done, whether it's something to do around the house, like whatever needs doing life-wise. Like today I need to go and take library books back and things like that. So I'll just block out time because I don't want to be working on Friday afternoons. In the past, I've had 2 buffer blocks for emails and admin, but I have found that that can really distract me and make me lose focus on what it is that I want to do. So I think what I might do is actually do another email and admin block at the end of the day rather than in the morning, because then I know what's coming up the next day and I can plan things in on a to-do list and things like that. What I want to do every morning is jump into something. So whether that's client work, whether that's something that I'm working on, I really don't want to be distracted by emails and admin. And if anybody has anything urgent, so if I did have a therapist client that was sick or something like that, they would 100% be messaging me with a voice note or some kind of text to let me know. So nothing urgent is going to come up in the morning that I need to deal with. As long as I check emails twice a day, it's really not a big deal what time that is for me personally. For some of the team members, that's not going to be the same, the case for them, and they'll have to have much bigger blocks for their emails and inbox management. But for me, it's not necessary anymore. So I am going to plug in some other things that are more important than that, and then I can see where I can do the emails and admin. So on Friday mornings, this is when I'm going to have my strategic block for actually working on my own business. And realistically, that is going to be the only kind of time other than, training and things like that, that I'm really working on my business in this season. So I really want to make it count. I don't really want to look at emails and things like that. All my clients know that I kind of don't work Fridays, so it's not going to be a big deal. And I'm going to block kind of like the whole morning out to do my own stuff. So this is going to be my strategic block here. So I'm going to plan out the whole morning, and we'll call this one business development. Okay, awesome. So we've got that planned in as well. Then I have regular meetings with people, so I'm going to schedule them in next. Putting in some regular client work that I do. Okay, awesome. So now I need to plan in time where I'm really focused and working on my client's business. So I'm just having a look where I've got the most time, and obviously this does look like the afternoons, but I would like to schedule in mornings as well for them. So I'm going to book out the whole of Wednesday to work on stuff with Tamara. And I'm going to do the whole of Thursday for Lauren. Mondays I need to block out for myself. This is going to be for videoing, so I'm going to block out the whole morning, but this is really where it's going to depend on the week of what I am doing. So I'd like to do 2 videos each week on the weeks that I'm filming, and the weeks that I should film should be week 3 and week 4. So I'm going to put video filming here, and this is that kind of colour. I'll do 2 videos each day, and I should be left over with time where I can, you know, film some reels or something like that. So I'm just going to put that under video filming. I'm going to already have all the videos planned out, so there's not much planning I'm going to need to do. But on week 2 I'm going to do like scripting and research. So I'll put research and scripting here. I'm going to put that under video as well, because although I'll have the title, maybe a brief outline, I really want to get all the scripts done. So I'll be doing that in week 2. Could I get 4 done in 2.5 hours? Not sure. So that is actually the wrong colour. Clearly I wanted to go more pale this time. I think it's that colour, yeah. And then in this one, maybe I'll do that both weeks. I don't actually know how much time I need for that at the moment, so I'm going to put that in both. And then I definitely am going to be doing editing for the majority of the afternoon. I usually take about 3 hours to edit, so I'm going to do that. I only really get 1 done a week, which is why I do this. So I'd like to get ahead of the filming so that I'm editing not for that same week. So I'm not doing the editing on the Monday for the video that goes out on the Wednesday. Okay, this is good, and it's looking like I have sort of spare time as well, which is great. Okay, I'm gonna shuffle a couple of things around to get more done. So I'm going to just unmerge that. I'm gonna put that there. Awesome. That's now like group things together. It saved me some time. I've got an hour free here, and I've got an hour and a half free here as well. So I think what I'm going to do on those mornings is work on my VA licensing. So I'm going to plan that time there. Just so I'm not letting that go by the wayside and ignoring it, even though I am, you know, more focused on the clients. During this time, I don't want to let this go and forget about it. So I'm going to put that in there. So I'm going to put that as business development. Okay, and then Tuesday afternoons, I'm going to split between my 2, you know, bigger clients. So I'm going to schedule in time for them. So I'm going to do 1.5 hour slots here. So I'm going to do that one there. On the days where I've got my long days, I do need to schedule in time for walks as well, which I haven't really done this. I'm going to put 1 in here, put 1 in here. And on a Monday, I will also split up the editing as well, because otherwise my brain will hurt. And then if I need a little bit more time editing, I can, you know, do that for a bit longer and do the emails and admin. So I'm just going to kind of leave that as it is there. Do emails and admin at the end of the day on Tuesday as well. What I'll actually do is I will do this for the whole hour instead. And if I don't need that long, awesome. Wednesday I'm just doing emails and admin once, that's great. And then I have Thursday afternoons where I don't have anything booked in. So I'll do another emails admin at the end of that day, because that's the last time I'm going to be working that week. And then I've got an hour and a half here to schedule something in. So with Thursday afternoons, I do leave things open so that people can book in ad hoc sessions with me. So, you know, admin audits and things like that. So I think what I'll do is I'll kind of leave that open and play it by ear. So I can be open for meetings here. I could do more admin if I need to. If Tamara or Lauren need me for something, then I can do some work there. So I think I am just going to literally leave this as ad hoc, and it will depend on the day. So I probably will just keep this white. I think that'll be the easiest thing, so that I know that I have time in my diary that if things come up, then I always have that Thursday afternoon to work on it or to see clients or things like that. So that is how I'm planning out my months and weeks until the end of the year. If you've made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for still being here, and I hope you found that video useful. If you enjoyed this video, I am sure you are going to like my video on the 12-week year, so go and check that out next. Remember, I've left a link in the description below to that 4-weekly template if you want to go ahead and start that yourself. But for now, thanks so much for watching.